This is CWTFB Radio. I'm your host, Charlie MaSheen. You already know what it is. Always sponsored by Details Car Audio and Auto Detailing, right on 925 Turnpike Street. That's in Canton, Mass. Route 138. I'm pretty sure you've seen the spot with the free vacuums in the front. That's not us, but if you want to go over there and get your detail on, interior, exterior, audio needs, tinting needs, things of that nature. That's for cars, trucks, motorcycles, all of the above. Anything you need, just run up in there, let them know Charlie sent you. We'll get you laced up, and I don't know if we're going to give you a discount, but just let them know Charlie sent you, and we're going to take care of you, man. But this is it's Juneteenth. It is
that's right.
It's June 19th, 2020. This is something that I've never really spoke about. I haven't really addressed any social issues, and I want y'all to understand that. Why? Because all the episodes that are coming out right now were pre-recorded prior to George Floyd's death and Breonna Taylor and all these other things that were happening in the world right now. And I just felt like today was necessary to talk about it and bring it in and have some of the people that I respect their opinions on and some of the closest people to me, just come over here and kind of help me out with this conversation, because I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to hear me talk to y'all, just talk about myself for the whole time. But we're going to have a lot of fun with this. It's going to be an open discussion. Now, we're going to start with this disclaimer. We're not looking to offend anybody when we speak. This is all opinionated. It's all based on, our experiences, life experiences. And when you come from our backgrounds and our culture, there's a lot of things that go into why our belief system is the way that it is. But what I want to do now, before I get into anything else, is just open up the floor to, my guest, my in-house guest, that I got here. We're going to start right here with my man. Let them know who you are, what you do.
Nobody knows what I do.
Right. This is Tommy from Martin. Nobody knows what he does. Right.
But name Steve Thellum. So I personally, I'm into sales and marketing. Working on a couple of projects right now.
Sales and marketing, That's what drug dealers say.
Working on making some things happen in the city.
Okay.
Follow us at Purple Heart Poetry.
Yeah. Drug dealers usually start like nonprofits and shit like that, and like clean their money up and shit like that.
Oh, word?
But it's all right. Go ahead. It's Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth. Go ahead.
Sales and marketing. Follow us at Purple Heart Poetry.
Yeah.
We are looking to have something happen tomorrow, actually, God willing, with a slight partnership. But nonetheless, man, just glad to be here, bro. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Having us here.
Absolutely, man. Yo, big fella was good, man. Holla at him.
I am Cesar Leo De Janeiro. I'm also in sales, training, general mentorship, whatever you need. I'm your man.
Right. Now he's not even talking enough. Like, this is my big cousin, man. It's like my big bro.
All the way I'm gonna save it for the content.
All the way from Wakanda.
I don't matter right now.
Where he came from. I'm gonna let him tell his story a little bit more, man. But we got my man.
My man is your man. My man. Your main man, KASH. Kill a stupid hoe. Y'all niggas be getting it confused.
Yeah, he ain't got no
cash for money. It's never money. I gotta clear it up now for y'all who don't know. Kill a stupid hoe, but that's the old me. That's the old me. We knew now. You know what I'm saying? And what I do is I support my guys. So
shit done changed, man. But I appreciate y'all being here tonight, dog. How y'all doing, though, man? What's good? How's everybody feeling?
I'm feeling real ignorant today.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I can tell you want some shit right now.
I want some shit.
Yeah,
I want some shit.
Yeah.
I'm sick of seeing videos, personally.
Straight up.
I don't want to watch any more videos.
I can't
videos
watch.
As far as what?
Police brutality, mass murder, people upset about it. I mean, I'm sick of seeing it.
Right.
What's the main topic for the night? Because I want to make sure that I
The main topic for the night that I really want to discuss is police brutality, man. Police brutality and reform on that. And how are we going to get reform on that? And just really, has anybody in here had personal experiences with police brutality?
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so who's yes? My man, tell him. Yeah, look, tell him about it.
So, allegedly, this is all allegedly.
Case is still open.
Yeah. So, allegedly, I am at a get together at the time when we were building the network marketing company. Oh yeah, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
Allegedly.
We was in Lawtown.
So we out somewhere in one of them towns, right?
Yeah.
And we're having to get together, presentation, do everything we do. Somebody allegedly called the cops, and cops come to the door, knock, knock, knock. Mind you, at the time, I'm just coming back from Afghanistan. Like, I'm still, super, anxiety's on an all-time high, right? And when they knock on the door, I have a lot of my brother is ex-cop. I'm very well versed in what
procedures and things of that nature.
Exactly, right? So, cop knocks on the door. He's asking, "Hey, what's going on?" Somebody called the cops. We're here,
right?
But these cats showed up 4 deep, strapped, booted, ready to go.
Yeah, they was ready to fuck some shit up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, niggas knocking the door, and I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" And when I
was this your crib though?
Nah, it was not my crib. Right. However,
I digress. But go ahead.
No. It was not my crib. No, it really was. It was not my crib, but everybody trusted me to handle the situation. So
why? Why did they trust you out of all people?
Because he was just capping niggas in towel rag.
Wow.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
To offend anybody.
Oh, my bad.
Well then.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't say sand nigger, so I mean, we're good, right?
So come to the door. They basically asked everybody to come out the room, and I'm like, yo, it's only a few of us in here.
Right.
And then there were 4 people there, cops, 3 white, 1 black. Oh, 2 white, 1 Hispanic, 1 black, because they knew what they were going to deal with, so they came with everything. Right. And
bag of skittles.
So dude knocks on the door. I open up. It's all black behind me, so he can't see anything, bro.
Right.
And it's just me and the homeowner right behind me.
Yeah.
And the minute I said, "Look, there's nothing here for you to see," he proceeded to step into the door, and then military training, you know what I'm saying, martial arts.
So this is what happened, right? From my perspective, right? So there was a house party. We got too noisy. Cops came through. Steven sees the cop. He got a little aggressive with the cop.
No.
It wasn't even like aggressive where he was like trying to attack the cop.
The cop tried to step in.
Right. The cop approached him. Right. So once you, all right. So this is not, and
it's real.
And the reason why I'm speaking so freely about this is because I want y'all to understand from the perspective of just regular niggas, dog. Right. You got a cop that comes in here and just starts using his force. He just walks into the apartment. Right. That's Steven standing his ground. Right. Military training. You had just left the desert at that time. It's like second nature. You know what I mean? It got semi-physical.
Not semi. I put my hands on the man and
I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to, right? Only because that training and that experience that you had is not like what everybody else has. Like, we had a party and we had another house party. At the time, nobody was comfortable talking to the cops at this party.
Steven walks outside
with the gun
on his hip, with a tank top,
allegedly.
And he tells the cops, "Nigga, it wasn't alleged. We seen that shit." Right?
And he tells the cop, hold on, let me tell him. So he tells the cop, "I just came home. This party is for me. Don't worry about it. Leave."
Right. And the cops left.
Leave.
Because they seen the dog tags on them. And I think that's the camaraderie, right? So this is so police brutality, right? When we talk about, what happens with dirty cops and things of that nature, right? We always talk about fuck the police, right? Shit
Straight
like
up.
that. I say 12. Shit like that. Yeah, fuck 12. You know what I'm saying? There's so many fucking records that we could talk about and speak about this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've always said fuck the police until the point recently. I even had an extended family member who reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, I don't want you to feel, like it's a me versus you thing because of what I do." And I told him, I was like, "Yo, bro, I ain't even thinking about you on some shit. But what I want you to understand is that, yes, you are my family. And yes, I do understand that there are good cops. I understand there is good law enforcement, whatever the case may be. But when we talk about us as a whole, as a being, these cops are predetermined in their mind to treat us a certain way, right? So why not reciprocate that same energy onto them? And that's why we say shit like, fuck the police, right? It's not like, you know what I mean? So do y'all have anything to say about that? Like in regards to that?
I just want to say a quick thing. Like, I mean, it's their job, right? At the end of the day. So they signed the application, they got the job, and then we was like, fuck them.
It's my job to protect my house.
But if a majority of y'all, them cops, are bad in our eyes, fuck the good ones.
Nah, I can't agree.
I mean, but that's just what it is. That's just what it. Because every time I get pulled over, I don't get nervous because, oh man, I wonder if this is a good cop or a bad cop. Nigga, I just get nervous because it's a cop.
I get it.
But here's the thing: when do you ever hear the story about the great experience you had with the police officer? Nobody's gonna sit here and tell you a story like, "Hey guys, I got pulled over. This guy high-fived me. He was super nice." He was like, "Hey bro, I just wanted to let you know."
I have a couple.
Right,
I have a couple.
But here's the thing: you have a couple, but most people don't tell those stories. There are people who get off with. I've gotten off with a lot of warnings in my life.
Right.
I don't talk about those stories. I talk about those times I'm driving through Milton with my hoodie on, with my brother, and I get pulled over for no reason except for the fact that I was driving in the wrong direction.
Word.
Had I been driving to Mattapan, I would have been straight.
Straight up.
But I'm not going to tell that story.
That's a fact.
So that's how.
Can I ask
a
question?
But
The question is why?
why what?
Why what?
Why don't we tell that story?
All right, before we get into why we don't tell that story, anybody else got any other police brutality? Or like altercations with the police?
I haven't.
Yeah,
On my altercations, I felt like I knew my rights, I knew my laws, and because of that, I was empowered.
I feel you. Go do that shit in Gulfport, Mississippi.
I can't.
Meridian, Mississippi.
I can't.
Well, New York has
Louisiana.
that problem. New York has a huge police brutality problem. We see a lot of videos of people in New York. We saw it during the COVID thing, where you saw the dichotomy of them. Okay, they had the white folks who were in the park, no mask.
Right.
And you have a photo of a police officer handing them a mask, and then you have a young person of color in the hood somewhere getting, getting thrown around over COVID protections.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, there was like a whole group of Jews having this massive funeral gathering, and I ain't seen not a cop out this bitch, right?
Shit out of you, brother. They were not going to touch them.
Andrew Cuomo, that motherfucker's a gangster.
Straight up. I'll give him that.
Andrew Cuomo, sidebars. Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York, that man denounced the motherfucking Jews. I mean, granted, he's Italian. You know, Italians don't give a fuck about nothing, dog. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even think they white.
I'm pretty sure.
They don't think they white.
I'm pretty sure Cuomo says nigga every
Yo,
day.
Italians, y'all white.
But y'all are very Anglo-Saxon, very European. There's nothing colored about y'all. Y'all could be the blackest white people ever, but y'all are still white. But Andrew Cuomo, shout out to him because he made that statement. He made that connection. Whereas, yo, why is it that the black people, Hispanic people, whatever, out here and y'all they're getting harassed over some same shit that these Jews was just walking around freely doing, right? But anyway, I digress. So I want to talk about situations that I've been in where it was like, the police don't give a fuck right now. The argument is this, right? If you're not doing anything wrong, then the police won't fuck with you, right? I don't believe that to be true. I'm driving in Milton, you know what I mean? In the car.
It's always Milton, man.
Yo, Milton. Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in Mattapan, you know what I mean? The closest white people to you.
Right. Remember our experience in Mattapan, though.
Which one? But either way, right? I'm driving through. I'm smoking a black and mild. Got my man in the whip. These two cops pull us over. One's white, one's black. Actually, no, it was a detail. Those two cops there. One white, one black. I don't really know what I did. It might have been a rolling stop or some bullshit. It was something real simple. And I was smoking a black and mild. He's walking to the car. As he's walking to it, I'm blowing out the smoke and putting it out. He walks up to my window like, "Don't you blow that smoke in my face." And I'm like, well, I mean, I can't really not blow the smoke out the window and have it not hit your face. Like, it is what it is. Dude proceeds to pull me out the car, like, get out the vehicle. Before I even got a chance to say anything, door was open. I'm getting yanked out the whip. The black cop is just like, yo, what the fuck is happening right now?
No, but did he say that?
He was just like, yo, relax.
Oh, shit.
So I'm over here like, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, get the fuck out of here. We drove off, whatever, that was that. So this is my perception on that. Like, it's like, okay, if that black cop wasn't there, who's to know what the fuck would have happened with that situation? It would have been a story to tell, right?
Exactly.
Now, flashback to when I was a kid, my brother come home with a bubble dye from being, out and about the night before. Later, we find out that he got his ass whooped by the cops because he was just applying the same type of pressure that the cop was applying to him, similar to your situation, right? So it's like, this is the thing, when cops try to apprehend you and you're not even in full understanding of what you're getting apprehended for, what do you think is going to happen? It's a natural reaction, right? Like, you're just like, yo, what are you doing, bro? Like, you didn't even tell me what I'm doing wrong. And y'all, you know what I'm saying? You got your hands on me and things of that nature. But there's also a flip side to that. In my situation, it's like, yeah, I had a cop. I mean, cop doing some dumb shit. Some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, non-violent crimes. But why is it when I'm getting bagged, there's like 6 guns pointed at me?
Facts. Because they now know that they have real probable cause.
No, bro. No. I can't agree.
So why do the guns come out?
Yeah, it's like, because the thing is, I've seen so many different situations where it's like, fuck the probable cause.
That's what they call. That's what they consider running a nigga down.
Man, don't say none of that dumb shit, because they have nothing to pull their guns out for. It is not a criminal.
It's not a violent crime.
It's not a criminal violent offense.
Listen, it could be as criminal as you want it to be, right? But it's like, say the charge was weed, nigga. That case is closed. We could talk about that shit.
Yeah.
Right? That shit, it was weed. It don't matter how much weed I had on me or whatever the case may be. What makes you think that I was about to pull out a gun and start blasting on the police?
Armed and dangerous.
Even the little nigga that ratted on me, if you're watching this, fuck you. Even him.
Oh yeah, fuck that nigga.
Even the little nigga who ratted on me, who pointed out the cop and said, "This is what he's driving. This is what he's wearing. Whatever." Nothing in the police report when I was reading it about how he was singing about me said anything about me having a gun on me or me being violent or anything of that nature. So why is that okay?
Yo,
I think they operate from the point of view where you're guilty until proven innocent.
Yo, bro, we're
unfortunately,
no. We like, systematically, we've been made to be feared by the opposite color.
Right. Or any other color for that matter.
Yeah. Like, anything that's not black is dangerous.
Anything that is black.
that is black is dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
You seen him on Dykeman.
So
I know black. I know black.
Anything that's black is dangerous. So automatically they approach us like we're dangerous for no damn reason. So no, it's not okay.
Right.
And I don't agree with none of that shit, because realistically, that night, had I not had my dog tags on, had I not shown them my military ID, they would have tried to beat the shit out of me. But after I fucked 3 of you up real quick, you back up.
Why do the police defer to veterans the way they do? Because I've heard plenty of stories of veterans getting away with bloody murder.
Veterans.
Because they're veterans. And I'm not saying I respect veterans, because they do things a lot of us would never do. They see things and go through things.
Why do you say it like that, though?
What do you mean?
Veterans.
What do you want me to call them?
I thought it was veterans. You just made me say it like you. I was like, veterans.
I don't know.
I was like, I've never said that in my life. Veterans. Do you say that shit?
Veterans Day.
Veterans. I thought it was veterans. Yo, Steve, I thought it was veterans.
Right, so now you're making me look.
Is it veterans
on the show?
No, I'm just bro. I'm just
one of them.
I've always said veterans. I don't know.
Nobody ever corrected you?
Nah, it's not wrong.
My man live like.
No, I'm just. I'm
he's
not.
in sales,
it's
man.
some shit.
In any event, so let's go back to the original question. Why do the police defer to veterans?
I mean, because a lot of them, I feel like, come from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a veteran go get a state police job
real quick.
But what about local police? A lot of them aren't veterans. Right? I mean,
but a lot of
state police.
A lot of them are as well.
A lot of them have.
A lot of them are.
But does that mean, okay, even if you are, so I served, you served. Mm-hmm. I pull you over. Like my wife's best friend, a guy she was dealing with, he was a veteran. He was up here in Massachusetts, super dark tints, like 20%, something crazy like
my
that.
shit's always like 0.
They pull her over. Actually, she was driving his whip, and they start asking her questions, and she's like, "Well, this is my boyfriend's car," and he's like, "Well, did he serve?" "Yes." And then that was it. That was the whole conversation. They moved on. I mean, it probably helped that she was a white Russian girl, but
but
the whole veteran plate, dark tints, white Russian girl, they just went on by. No ticket, no nothing.
It's kind of
so. My question is, so just because we both serve, I let you break the law? Like, I don't understand that logic.
It's unfortunately, man. Speaking from personal experience,
please do.
It's a stereotype. Like, if I pull Charles over and I'm like, all right, bro, like, you're a brother.
Right.
He's a veteran and being a brother. Same way if he's a salesperson, I pull him over. Oh, shit, you used to work at Chrysler Jeep? You know what I'm saying? Like,
so it's a fraternity.
It's a brotherhood.
So this fucked up. This is kind of what I wanted to get into.
And it's fucked up. I don't like it because I don't subscribe to that stuff. Like, to me, it's like, I love and respect Black people, but I feel like I love and respect all people.
Individuals.
So I don't feel like I should be more, let's put it this way. In sales, right? And Chiz can probably attest to this. Oftentimes people of color are charged more for the products that they purchase, higher interest rates when they finance,
Absolutely.
Right? Yep. When a person of color comes into my office, I don't think to myself, you know what? I should make less money. You're my brother.
Right.
Exactly. I don't care if you're white, Black, especially Asian. I don't care who you are.
Especially
if Asian. It's my, because they make it hard now. Hey, this is no disrespect. Asians, Indians, they're the best negotiators on the planet. It's part of the culture. It's part of the culture, but they are very good negotiators. But the whole point, the point I'm making is, I don't care who you are, bro. If you sit in front of me, if my job is to make as much money as humanly possible, as legally and humanly possible on you, I'm going to do that. I don't care if you're Haitian. I'm Haitian. I've had Haitians come in my office. I will slap you around just like anybody else if I have to make that bread. Now, I'm not going to take advantage of you just because you are whatever, but I'm also not going to suddenly drop my pants
just because. Right.
Exactly. I'm going to do my job.
Right.
So he was saying that to relate it to a cop, right?
Exactly.
So for a cop, they gotta go off experience, right? They have to, right? That's what it is. That's just what it is, Steve. Steve.
All right. We're talking about an experience where I'm a law enforcer, and
what colors do you see?
I see.
I'm red, white, and blue.
I'm supposed to see right.
You're supposed to see.
Hold on. I'm supposed to see right and wrong.
Okay. Which leads me to this. Let's talk about George Floyd real quick for a second.
Damn.
Right?
Rest in peace.
Because George Floyd.
Rich as shit.
George Floyd. My bad. George Floyd was killed by 4 cops, right? It doesn't matter who was on his neck.
Right.
There were 4 cops there. They were all complicit on there. So the fraternity thing that we're talking about right now is how 3 other people let this rock. Now, this goes back to my experience in Milton. Had that one cop just been on some like, fuck it, yo, we out here. We fucking these little niggas up. Then they would have been just as guilty as those other guys that was there when George Floyd got murdered. Whether or not, what was the dude's name? Chauvin had his knee on his neck. Whatever the case may be, the Asian dude, which happened to be his brother-in-law, I heard.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
So Chauvin's wife is Asian, which is
right.
This Asian dude's
that's
brother.
That's the brother, yeah.
So I think, not only is the camaraderie of police like very thick, let alone this dude, that's his family member at this point.
Right.
But prior to that, like, you know what I mean? Even before that, I feel like, look at the other 2 guys. The other 2 guys I heard were training.
So they're following orders.
Imagine you being on your first week of work and it's the shit you had to go through.
I'm sure they thought, is this how it always is?
Right.
Like
they're following orders.
Now, and it's fucked up to even try to put that into perspective because right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? But what do you do when you're a rookie and you on the job?
Yo, so I'm not
okay.
No, I don't want to be first.
All right,
please.
Yo, the thing about it is, and that's why I had to get out the military. Because I was that rookie who didn't give a fuck because right is right and wrong is wrong.
Right.
And I moved with a certain code of integrity. And yeah, if I'm a cop and I pull over another cop, I'll bring you to your crib versus letting you go drive and kill somebody else.
All right.
Go ahead.
My bad. I just got something that's right at the top of my head. So street niggas, right? A street nigga get up with his mans. His man's like, yo, we riding now. Nigga, I'm riding, right? But I don't really know why. I don't know, you know what I mean? What's about to, you know what I mean? What's about to happen? But that's my man. And the loyalty to my man, hold on, before you shake your head, the loyalty to my man is what's bringing me to that situation. And we've had situations like that where we didn't need to ride out, but we was. But why was we riding out? Simply because of loyalty.
Right.
So if I'm a cop, and I'm not sticking up for cops, nigga, because it's been fucked 12.
Technically dressed like an undercover cop today, but
I really am. Backwards cop, that's all judging. But like, if they dealing with experiences, on some shit where the majority of their situations is they life feels in danger is happening with black people every time. But wait, Steve. I'm just giving you what I got.
Yeah, good.
Pause. Pause.
Yeah, stop.
Let me sip.
Pause.
Wait, pause.
All right, so you done with your talk?
Yeah, I'm pretty much
done. Go ahead.
Sorry. So the thing about it is, the only thing that I am saying is there's a difference between right and there's a difference between wrong.
And nobody's negating that.
So therefore, if like that's why I've never been in a gang. I've never been one of those guys who wanted. I'm not gonna go ride on somebody and not know. So I know a lot of guys who are doing a lot of dumb stuff,
right,
for no fucking reason, and they had no idea what they were doing it for. That's why it was never, ever.
Okay. So and that's facts. But this is what I mean about right and wrong, right? So when you have these cops that are just standing around doing nothing and they see something that's clearly wrong, you're on the right. You want to be on the side of right.
Absolutely.
Right? So, you know, what makes a cop do that is what we're trying to find out, right?
I think so. It's a loaded question because you're asking about somebody's motivation, and we don't know what individual people think. But here's what I do know. For years and years and years, cops have operated with impunity on the streets. They've been able to get away with things that any other citizen would not be able to get away with. And I understand at the time they were clocked in and this is their job and there's a certain level of protection they have. I honestly don't think we can overreact to every single situation of police violence. I don't want to say brutality, but violence.
Right.
Because we don't know what happened before. We don't know what led up to it. We don't know what the person was doing, because a lot of times we get clips in the middle. I think George Floyd is unique in the sense that we have pretty much the whole picture, right? We've seen a lot of video on that, so we know, we can easily say, I mean, anytime white people have to admit it's wrong, you know it was messed up.
1-800-RBAD. If you and your family members have been killed by the police, please call this
What
number.
I'm saying is, so we never know what the actual situation is where these people do these things. But at the end of the day, we'd be lying to ourselves if we said that we lived in a world of black and white, right and wrong. There's a gray area for a reason.
Straight up.
Because at some point because think about right and wrong, right? Right and wrong is right or wrong based on rules we've all agreed to. Well, at one point it was wrong for you to marry a white woman as a black man, right? Technically, that would have been illegal.
It's still wrong.
It would have been illegal,
It's
and then
still
somebody
wrong.
could make the justification that was wrong that you married that white woman because
We
the
fuck
laws
white
we all
bitches. We
agreed
don't
to
marry
said
them.
you can't marry that white woman. There has to be a gray area.
Playing, yo. Anybody that's listening to this shit, though, don't take me seriously.
Of course. We abide by the rules that we've been subjected to.
Sure.
Because my perception of right may be different from his.
Absolutely.
And we grew up differently.
Right.
Maybe we can come to a common ground, but the only thing that I'm saying is our versions of right are different. So it's like, what is right? Because when they created the Constitution, that shit wasn't made for us because we were slaves.
That shit wasn't right.
Right. It was right at the time.
At the time for white people.
Yeah, at the time for white people.
It wasn't for us.
They didn't have us in mind.
Doesn't make it right.
We was free.
Again,
we was free
right
labor.
is subjective
for them. Right. So that's what right is, right? As a whole, as humanity, that was fucked up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like right. We can all agree on that, right? It was fucked up, right? So, you know, racism is something that's been systematically designed to keep minorities, and you know, the word minority is funny because we're starting to become the majority.
We already are.
And I wouldn't say that, but what happens is, you know, it was systematically designed for us to beat down. So like what you just said, C's, was something I just thought about when you were talking about our line of work as far as like interest rates and things of that nature. I got into a heated Facebook battle with somebody the other day. Y'all know me, man. I don't really let people rock on the internet because I gotta say what I feel, man. And as long as nobody's getting disrespected, I'm for it. I'm for this all day.
You should really start using those voice memos though, because I feel like when you type, like your typing is way more aggressive than how you actually are looking to come off.
Whatever. Either way, what I'm saying is, this white girl, she's talking about how black people. And then she wasn't saying it in a you know, argumentative way or trying to be like condescending or anything. She was just more like, I feel like black people put white people and cops in the same pot, where it's like, and I said,
I do. I kind of do.
Well, you see, but what I explained to her was the reason why is because it's just it's programming of us being systematically you know, oppressed.
Absolutely.
And the reason being is it's not our fault. You know, at the end of the day, man, like, you know, for the most white people, for the most cops that did us wrong was white.
I'm sorry, I have to interject here. A white woman has no right to tell you how you should feel about white people and cops, because there are too many instances in our history where white women, Emmett Till, accused or what happened out in Tulsa, that was all based on a white woman in an elevator with a black dude.
Right.
There are too many instances where they call the dogs on us. Right. And because the white man's primary objective is to protect their pretty white flower, they don't even need to hear what happened, son.
Right.
What that nigger say?
Right.
Get him.
Right.
So that's why for me, it's like, you're entitled to your opinion, white woman. This is your world.
Well,
but you can't tell me how to feel about white people and cops, because it's been proven time and time again. If a black person tells a story and a white person tells a story, they believe the white person.
Right.
They give them the benefit of the doubt. Many times we just don't get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, this was the reason why I wanted to have a conversation with her, because I kind of just wanted to educate her. You know, she's saying that she's a white girl from, you know, the hood, like she was raised in, you know, where we was raised. I mean, she's one of the only white people that was, you know what I mean, in the hood or whatever with niggas. And then, you know, she said she had to work her way up. She's an RN now and things of that nature. And I understand that. That's good and dandy and all of that.
You know, she still ain't black.
She ain't. But she was talking about how, you know, well, you know, I spoke to, you know, one of my friends. I don't know if his name was Tyrone or some dumb
of
shit.
Course. She still ain't black.
But either way, she spoke to one of her friends that said, yo, if you was walking down my street back in the day, we would have fucked you up. And I don't agree. I do not agree with that narrative, right? Because I'm from the hood. I was raised in Mattapan. And yeah, we would see white people occasionally. And when we would see them, we would always ask where the fuck they coming from and what the fuck are they doing here?
What you looking for?
But that does not mean that we're just going to fuck you up.
How much do you need?
Right. It's like 40 a gram? Oh, that sounds awesome. 50 a gram. 40 a gram? You know, I'll make it 60 if you could come to Marblehead, dude. Like, fuck it. Just take the ride. But anyway... See, but what I told her was that, yo, listen, if we see white people in the hood, we're going to try to come up. Does that mean fucking you up? Probably not. I was like, we probably going to rob you or some dumb shit like that, but it's not going to always be violent. That's the difference. I was like, the person who told you that nigga's just ignorant. And it is what it is. Things like that in the hood do exist. I'm not going to say that it doesn't. But what I'm saying is I treat cops based off of their actions. I judge people off of their actions, their character, and their heart. Whoever they are. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, whatever, black, white, purple, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be whoever the fuck you are. If you're a piece of shit, you was a piece of shit before you met me. You just happened to meet me and I've realized you was a piece of shit.
Color ain't got nothing to do with it.
But in what point of the dialogue of the state police officer who's pulling you over within those
yeah.
My question is like, how do you make that judgment within that time?
No,
like, I'm nervous. Like, I get
All right. So I'm gonna play the angel's messenger because I'm not the devil's advocate. So
nigga always want to say some corny shit like that. Go ahead, with your angel's messenger, dumb shit. Go ahead,
yeah, whatever.
So the thing is, I'll speak from an officer standpoint, and then from a civilian standpoint. When they're pulling you over, automatically, from what I know personally, being in theater, automatically you're a target. But for us, you're more of a target because you're black.
Right. So that's what systematic racism is.
Exactly.
Right.
However, the only thing that I will say is the fact that when the officer's pulling you over, state trooper, whoever the fuck it is, automatically they're on alert.
Okay. So we've spoke about how fucked up cops are. They ain't shit.
Can be, we should say.
And right, how fucked up cops can be, and how they won't rat on their own people because it's like a fraternity. It's an unspoken rule. We understand that, right? Give me your top positive experience with police.
I want to go first.
You go first.
Okay, so I'm driving to New York from Boston. At some point, I got up to about maybe 85 miles an hour. I have a lead foot. I mean, I'm a big dude. This thing's heavy. So I get pulled over. I saw the cop. Like, I saw him see me. I slowed down a little bit. He pulls me over, and this is how the conversation goes. He goes, "You know why I pulled you over?" I said, "Yes, sir. I was speeding." He's like, "Okay." He was like, "License and registration." Now, bro, I go to pull my license out. I don't have it on me. I pull out the registration. I'm driving my mother's car at the time. I pull out, so names match and everything. I pull out my registration. He just asked me for my like date of birth, social name, stuff like that.
Right.
Goes back to his car, goes through everything. And I don't believe he even issued a ticket. And he came back and he said, because of the way you interacted with me, I'm going to let you off. White cop.
Right.
And I can honestly say a lot of the experiences I've had with white police officers have been relatively pleasant considering what I was doing.
Right.
So that's my story.
Okay.
My story, I was telling earlier.
Technically my story, but
yeah, it's actually
I was
but he don't remember. He don't remember, so I'm gonna tell the story.
Go ahead, tell the story.
So he's plastered way above 0.08, whatever the BAC
legal
is. And we get pulled over, and he's in his Beamer, and he was doing donuts in Burger King on Columbia Road, but that's not where we got stopped.
It was rear wheel drive. How can I not?
So we get stopped on the highway, and it's three sober people who are letting the drunk guy drive. So shame on us, first and foremost.
It was my first Beamer, man.
Whatever.
You don't want to let nobody drive anyway.
Whatever. So whatever. So he gets pulled over, and he can't really get his words together. He's like, and he points to me. He's like, "That's my cousin." And he says it like a couple more times. Cop is like, "Yo, I don't understand what he's saying. I just understand that he's saying that you his cousin." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "My license suspended." Right? So the cop is like, "His license suspended?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like,
I think it's just funny.
So the cop is like, "Yo, man, just switch seats with this fucking idiot, man. And just drive."
That's love.
White cop.
So exactly, that's love. You say, right?
They said you say.
So I'm like, yo, damn, nigga, like that's hella love. So I go to the cop's window to give him pound, like,
Good shit.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, right.
Hell
you
out of
fucking
there, nigga.
dummy.
What are you talking
Hey
about?
yo, so that's funny you say that. So
Yeah, so my man Chris
checked my nuts.
He's like, yo,
instantly
you
as soon
know
as I
that
get in
nigga?
the car. He's like, yo, you know that nigga? Why you dapping that nigga up? I'm like, yo, he let us go. He's like, yeah, nigga, that's luck.
Right, get in the
That's
car
a roll
and
of
drive.
the dice.
And later
Get in
on,
the car.
we find out he let them go because Cash is an informant.
Right. So all this time, the reason why I'm a free man, apparently, no, I'm playing. But anyway,
but seriously, man, in that moment, I was more like, the reason why I even dapped the cop up was simply, was because like I was shocked.
Right.
I was shocked at
That
the
could have gone
moment.
very
Like
different.
I thought we were going to jail, nigga. I thought we was going to
I
jail.
feel you.
I thought shit was getting.
Were you
get back.
intoxicated?
Yeah.
You were stupid.
but none of y'all was as drunk as I was.
No.
And the fact that he let us go,
I
That
have
was
a
fire.
story that beats yours, but I'm not gonna.
The
I might
fact
could
that he
tell it.
let us go though, because he knew that we was wet too. The cop knew we was wasted. I was stumbling out
He
the
was-
car.
I have
He
to
was-
tell
he
the
said-
story now.
when the
fam.
nigga said,
He wasn't trying to deal with all four of y'all niggas. He's smart because it was only him,
yeah,
right?
paperwork.
it was just him.
Paperwork, trying to literally deal with all four of y'all, and it was probably at the end of his shift.
And he was
You
probably
see,
right.
like, how do I know those factors? Like, if I know those things, if I know that this cop
Well,
on
for
this
one,
highway
it was
is
3
about to
a.m.
get off at
Fam,
3
end of
a.m.,
his shift.
I'm speeding.
It was 3 a.m.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Why are you stomping?
It was 3 a.m. Some of they shits be ending at 3.
Hey,
So he probably was just about to like leave his post.
yeah, he's like,
And he
yo,
saw
I'm
me-
not dealing with
He
this.
saw me flying, doing a $130 on the highway.
So you
on
saying
93.
that didn't happen because he was a good cop?
We're not
That
saying that
I'm not
he's a
saying
bad
that.
cop.
I'm not saying
We don't
that.
know that
I'm
man.
not saying that.
I'm not saying.
Here,
I
I
don't,
got one for you.
go ahead.
You was with me. Me.
It's always cheers with niggas, bro.
Oh, I ain't even gonna use that.
Oh man, keep Dedham out of it. Stay out of Dedham. All black people,
Facts.
all Spanish people.
That no bullshit.
Anybody
and
who's
that
not white, stay out of it.
like
Stay out of it.
the real one was when we got pulled over and she knew who you was. I know you remember that
Jen
one.
Penton.
Jen
Hey.
Penton. Shout out to Bestie.
So he's
Which
like,
is
"What's
funny,
up,
'cause
bestie?"
I'm glad you said this because
She was on
And it
Boston's
was,
finest.
Boston's Finest.
and it
Right.
was more than her because I think it was like 4 of them. They popped out the whip
We
real
was-
quick,
You,
and we was
in
lit.
Dedham or Mattapan?
It was right there, in Mattapan. We
Yeah,
was
it was
lit.
Yeah,
And I know
Yeah,
they
it was
knew
right
that
next
we
to the
was
Burger
lit.
King.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Like
Yeah.
no, we ain't even turned yet. We were like right there.
We were
Yeah.
in between Farmers
Yeah.
Market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
His
And
grandma
we was lit.
died.
Yeah,
Fairway.
it was. You know who was there. So pull up. Hey, what's up? I know they smelled the L, bro.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was wet.
But you know
But-
what? You know, this is what I mean about good cops and bad cops. Jen Penton is a good cop.
Shout out to Jen Penton.
Yeah, shout out to Jen Penton, man. Because Jen Penton ain't never did no corny shit. Like, she could have jammed niggas up for some shit.
Facts.
And I'm going to tell you my good story because this was who I had in mind when I was about to tell you. That was one of them.
Yeah.
I have 3 other great stories with Jen
You
Penton, my nigga. Jen Penton caught me right over there on Rugby, right by your parents' crib.
Right.
I'm flying down. This is my first Beamer.
Always the first beef.
Shiz also has a lead foot.
Yo, shit was tinted down, nigga. And you know Rugby, nigga, mad narrow. She's like, whoop, whoop, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm bugging. This is right by, you know what I mean? This is the street. We all know the street. And she pulled me over. She's like, yo, what's up with your tents? It wasn't even for the speed. And I'm like, okay, bet. And I was like, oh, you know what's crazy? I was actually about to go take these tents off right now,
Ain't that
right?
some bullshit.
Right? And she's like, all right, whatever, buddy. She's like, let me get your license registration. I was like, yo, I had already known her from that point because of that situation. And I was like, yo, bestie. So we used to call her bestie. Preface. We used to call Jen Penton bestie because her former partner, white dude, I forget his name, R.I.P. to him. He actually committed
he
suicide.
killed himself.
Yeah, R.I.P. to that man. He was a good dude, man. He ain't never did no wrong to
But
us.
when he pulled us over, we asked him if he was hitting it.
So right, we asked him.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
him.
that was him. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So we had
Rest
asked
in
him that
peace.
night that we got pulled over.
Yeah.
And we was like, yo, y'all are always together. This your partner? And he was like, nah, we're besties. And I was like, oh, that's what y'all call it, huh? Bestie. So ever since then, Jen Penton was bestie. That was her name. So when she pulled me over that day, I I was like, yo, bestie, like, yo, like, what you asking me for my license and shit for? Like, you know me? She's like, nigga, give me your license. And I'm like, I ain't got no license. She's like, whose car is this? Man, it's my girl's car. You know what I'm saying? It was my car, but it was registered to you, shorty. Get you a good one. You know what I mean? She registered a car to you, dog, good credit, all of that. You know what I'm saying? We had a low APR. But anyway, so
special finance.
Yo, that dogs. I thought my shorty was Angela Valdez and I thought I was Ghost, but that's another story. I digress. But we go. So she's like, yo, whose car is this? I'm like, it's my shorty's car. She goes, you know what? Because I know you and I know you a good kid and you trying to turn your life around. Leave the car right here. Have your shorty come get the keys from the station later.
That's fair.
Right? And I said, you know what? Bet. A few weeks later, same car. Flying Arlington Street.
He didn't learn.
Same first Beamer. I'm on same car, same first Beamer.
Do you see why some cops be mad though?
Right.
Hell yeah.
So I'm flying down Arlington Street in Hyde Park, about to go see my nigga O Sleezo. My nigga O. Shout out my nigga Sleeves. And she hears my engine before she sees me. Because if you know Arlington Street, coming from River Street, there's like a hill kind of. So you can't see the other side of Arlington unless you at the stop sign. So she's flagging me down once I get to the stop sign to pull over. I didn't know what the fuck she was doing because it looked like she was turning. So I just kept going, right? And then she like pulls the LUE, comes after me, whatever, whoop, comes to the car and she's like, wow, it's you again. And I'm like, yo. She's like, you get your license situated yet? And I'm like, nah.
The way my bank account is set up.
I wasn't eligible to get my license yet.
Nah.
I wasn't eligible yet. I was close to it. It was a few months. Because whatever, it was 2 years suspended. It was I had a few months
did everything he could to not get his license, right?
But listen, it gets better. She's like, you know the drill, same shit. She's like, I know you're on probation. Next time this happens, I'm calling your PO. So this is a true story. Now, the third time, I wasn't even lying to her, my nigga. Like, the second time, I forget what I told her I was about to go do. But the third time, I was literally about to go pick up shorty from work. At the time, she had a part-time job at Banana Republic in Legacy. And I'm over here. We had gone into an argument type shit the night before. And, like, our parents' cribs was close enough where she could walk home and I wouldn't feel like it was, like, a crazy walk. So she got mad and just left. And she left her car there, like, you know what I'm saying, type shit. Like, well, technically her car. But it was my car. But she left, you know, she just walked home. I'm going to pick her up the next morning. I pull up again, same Beamer. Whatever, we driving. This is on Fairmont, right in front of the Fairmont Grill, like right before it, like where that Dominican barbershop is at. Now my uncle, your father, is driving by at the time, and he sees it, and he just shakes his head and just keeps it moving because he's like, ain't shit I could do because I'm getting posted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This time she's like, yo, I pulled you over for the tints, and then once I realized what the plates were, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He still has the tints on the car. Please tell me you have your license now. At this point, I was eligible. This was probably, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was definitely eligible to get my license. I just didn't want to pay that $700 somewhere, whatever the fuck it was, to get this shit reinstated. That, yo, nigga, she stood right there, nigga, and called my PO, nigga. And then put me on the phone with my PO, like, yo, hey, talk to this nigga.
Crazy.
Like she's my mother.
Crazy.
And that's when I realized Jen Pettin fuck with niggas.
Straight up.
Like,
because she could have locked my ass up.
Straight.
Right? She should have locked my ass up. On some real shit. The first time. And I was like, you know what? That's my nigga, yo. Like, real talk. Like, it was probably like a year or two after I was actually on my way to E18. That's Hyde Park, right? E18. Whatever the hell, or whatever. Hyde Park precinct. I went over there to bring her some flowers. I just was like, yo, fuck it. I thought of Jen. It's my nigga right here. And it was like, oh, nah, she actually quit. She's a statey now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good fucking statey.
Hell yeah.
That's a great statey.
Shout out to Jen Penn. Wherever you at, you can always come to all the black barbecues. You get all the potato salads you want, Jen
Boston's
Penn.
finest, Jen Penn, baby. You know what I'm saying?
So,
you know what I mean?
all right, so if you want me to ask, like, with police brutality, Black Lives Matter, all this craziness going on right now, like, you're a solid cat, bro. Like, you know, I look at you as one of the older cats. I look at you as one of the older cats. Like, yo, like, you know, you doing your thing. Like, you moved to Georgia. Your wife, you bought a crib. like you're doing your thing. Now, I want to hear your perspective. How do we move towards positive change?
That's a loaded question, because I feel like, honestly, sometimes when I hear people talk about police brutality, so-called police racism, it puts me off, because I feel like we're missing the forest, right? Because the problems that we have in this country and in several other countries don't begin or end with police. Because let's keep it a buck, bro. Okay, you told your story where 3 times you got caught doing something, the woman let you off. And that's a perfect metaphor for what happens with police officers a lot of time, right? Because Siobhan, or whatever his name is, it's not like this was his first time fucking a nigga up.
You were.
Right? And the problem is, there are so many instances where cops do something wrong here, and then they move to a different precinct, and it's all, they get carte blanche, they start over, and then they do the same thing. Spare the rod, you spoil the child. You have to actually punish people when they do wrong things.
Fact.
And I get that the police union protects their people. I'm sure there are police officers who are falsely accused of things. We'd be crazy if we thought that didn't happen.
That's a fact. That happens.
But with that being said, not every cop who does something is justified in his actions. There have to be consequences for their actions. And I think, to me, that's where you bring change, where, so I live in Atlanta now, as you guys all know. I actually flew up just with down kidding. But I live in Atlanta now, and we all saw how Keisha Lance Bottoms got right on top of the dude who killed my man at the Wendy's. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but
Rayshard Brooks.
Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah.
We saw how she got on him. You saw the police chief quit, which I don't understand that one, but whatever. But Keisha got on it and did what she had to do, and she made sure they were prosecuted, because she wants Atlanta to be an example of what should and should not happen when it comes to police.
He got hit with murder quick. The murder charge.
He got hit with multiple charges.
Very quickly. Fast. And her doing that, it's an example of the way we should go about things. Now, I don't think we should ever rush to decisions, but people always want to slow things down, because unfortunately in Georgia also, that's where my man who was jogging, Ahmaud Arbery, right?
Ahmaud Arbery, yeah.
Yeah, that's where my man was jogging, and these white folks jumped in the pickup truck. Granted, they weren't police.
They were police in their own neighborhood.
Police. One was former police.
And that's what we do in the hood.
But in any event, technically at the time, they weren't police. They shot my man, and nothing happened forever. Nobody wanted to touch it. Now, in that case, we found out about the video later. My question is, how long did the DA have that video?
3 months.
Okay, so the DA had the video for 3 months, right? But in any event, the point I'm making is, sometimes we talk about, okay, let's not rush to things. Let's see what actually happened. Let's get all the information. But at the same time, we live in the age of technology. We live in an age where we can actually get answers. We ain't on telegraphs.
Microwave.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we have these machines where we can communicate with people instantaneously. And I think COVID has shown us that we can do a lot more than we've been doing with all this technology we have. So what are we waiting for? Why are we taking so long to put these people in their place? And then the other thing is moving cops around, letting them continue to police people with impunity and murder people and beat people. I read a story one time about a cop he was like a half Asian, half white dude. And what he was notorious for was preying on weak women. He'd pull over, like, get a woman who's like a prostitute or a drug addict. He'd like force them to give him head, have sex with them, all types of crazy stuff. Like, he did this for years.
Wow.
He preyed on these women because he knew nothing could happen to him. But here's the thing, even if these women complained, with the way police unions are set up and all that, what would they do? They'd be like, she's a junkie bitch. She's a whore. She probably wanted his dick. Like that's how they approach it. We have to change the way they approach it. I'm not saying they should be throwing their own people under the bus, because I don't want to throw my people under the bus.
Word.
But if you're wrong, bro, if I see you hitting your girl in front of me, I'm not gonna be like, yo, Cash is my nigga. That bitch should have kept her mouth shut. Like, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, yo,
but this is my thing. This is my thing. Cops are already rats. Like they have to rat on niggas by their job. That's a part of their fucking job description. Rat on each other. But they won't rat on each other. So that's the difference, right? So I had somebody else tell me that was a thing. Oh, you guys in the hood have a code. First off, I don't live in the hood, nigga. I live in West Roxbury. I live in a very nice neighborhood.
Don't do that.
I'm fucking with y'all. I'm fucking with y'all. It was a joke. But what I'm saying is, it's not the same. It's not the same, because you, as a police officer, took a vow to protect and serve, right? The community, right? You know what I'm saying? So for you to say, oh, well, I'm not, that's my man's, I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. That's not the same shit as me seeing my man's, you know what I mean, do something crazy.
Bullshit.
So let me play
Bullshit.
Let me play this angle real quick. Hold on.
How's it the same? Bro, when you're on the job, when you're a cop, when you're on the job, and your partner is doing some wild shit that you know that he shouldn't be doing, even if you don't rat on him, you should check your man.
Hold on. Okay, if we're gonna talk about that, let's talk about there was a black female officer in Buffalo, New York, I believe it was, right? Y'all probably heard this story. She had been on the force for 18 years. She walked into a situation where another police officer, I believe he was a white man, got very physical, started punching somebody he had already apprehended who was handcuffed. She tried to stop him from, beating on this dude. She subsequently got multiple charges against her, and she ended up getting fired from the police force for trying to intervene.
This is recently, right?
No, this happened years ago, actually.
Okay, no.
She's coming back up because there's some law that's going to get passed based on
where she can
things
get her job back.
She can get her pension.
Right. But y'all heard the story.
Yeah,
in any event,
so,
so you look at a situation like that, I don't think the real problem, even when you talk about a gang, even when you talk about police, let's say you talk about your boy, let's call it what it is. It's cowardice. You are a coward.
Right.
Because you don't want to say anything because you're scared of what's going to happen to me if I say something. Because they're not all going to agree with you.
Right.
Being right hurts. Yeah. Doing the right thing is not fun. There's no award for doing the right thing. You usually get shitted on.
It's
That's
like
what happens when you do
we ain't
the right
snapping,
thing.
nigga. This ain't Purple Heart poetry. We keep it real rap.
But
It was real. I liked it, man.
But
I might be your host, my nigga, but we ain't fucking snapping.
But the reality
Ain't no
is,
poetry shit.
if you're the type of person who wants to uphold, because you said you left the Army because of your moral fiber, your
It was the
integrity,
Navy, or
right?
whatever.
Excuse me, the Navy, Armed Forces. Be generic. You left the Armed Forces because of your moral code and the way you felt was right and wrong and all these things. The reality is, typically, if you're doing the right thing, and I don't care what environment you're in, whether this is business, police, stuff like that, because we've seen, Lord knows we have a bunch of corrupt corporations doing all types of crazy things.
Right.
And as soon as look what Trump did to a whistleblower. The reason Trump got impeached was the dude in his own cabinet who came out and said, like, yo, he wasn't trying to give Ukraine that money, son.
Right.
That's all he said. He's like, I heard the dude say he's not giving Ukraine the money. And they tried to protect him because they knew Trump is so vengeful that if he knew who he was, he would fire him. That guy does not work for him anymore.
He doesn't work for nobody.
In many cases, right. He's getting that extra $600.
Right. It's like everybody else, man.
But the point being, like, a lot of times when you try to do the right thing, when you try to stand on something, like, people will be like, nah, that's not how this goes, bro. Like, we're going to cover this up. You shut the fuck up, write the report the way I told you to, and everything will be okay. But if you don't, we're going to make life very fucking hard.
Straight up.
That's what happens too many of the time. And most people are like, man, I ain't trying to lose my job over this, nigga.
Straight up.
Like, that's what it comes down to. I ain't trying to lose my job.
You have a wife. You would not want to put your wife through that.
I'm okay being a stay-at-home husband be like.
Okay, I'm fine. So would
no, I feel you, dog. I feel you.
Would you want to put like?
Nah,
you know what I mean? Like,
all right, so let's move away from the cops for a little bit, right? We done been shitting on the cops for a little bit. We do understand that yes, there are good cops, right? So when we say fuck the police, we're not talking about all cops. We just, we might know the good ones, but it's like fuck your co-workers. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them niggas. I don't know them niggas. If I invite you to the fucking cookout, you come alone, my nigga. You're a cop. We're not gonna do nothing to you, all right? That's it, right? But Black Lives Matter. I know y'all been seeing what's been going on in the aftermath of the George Floyd murder, because that's what it is. It's a murder.
Something that's been bothering the fuck out of me.
So yo, Cash, what's been bothering you, dog?
Yo, man, listen, man. So I work for a nonprofit, and within that nonprofit, they hired members of the LGBTQ community. Not a
the
problem for me.
alphabet people.
The
alphabet people.
The alphabet people. Not a problem for me. Not a problem for me because I'm good where I'm at.
That's
like, I know what I
like.
That is politically correct.
Like I know what I like, and like I'm straight. So I mean, not you know what I mean. I'm straight, literally. You know what I mean. But either way, like it doesn't bother me. But what did bother me was
what bothered you, man? What's today?
Juneteenth.
Today is Juneteenth. What is the symbolism of Juneteenth? I want so a lot of people.
I don't know the history. So right, let me be real. I'm sorry.
So let's preface it with this.
Yeah. Let's start with that. Let's
preface it with Juneteenth.
Let's start with that with Juneteenth.
The reason why, and I'm not, to all my black people out there, I love y'all. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we weren't raised the same way. I was raised as a Haitian American. My parents are Haitian immigrants. My family are Haitian immigrants. We don't identify with Juneteenth the same way of our African American, like actually American friends who are raised in the American culture identify with it. We don't look at it the same way, but I do understand what it is. It's June 19th, 1865, allegedly when the last slaves were free.
Thank
right?
You for saying allegedly,
allegedly, because it's not the truth, right? If you look at the books, you look at the history. My brother's a historian. He does this shit. It's not really a fact, but it's the day that we recognize for the emancipation of all the slaves. Yep. Shout out my nigga Abe Lincoln. Right?
All right.
So,
well, I have a problem with Abe, but we'll talk about that later. Let's go on. We're not going to get into it right this second.
Let me land this plane.
But
so it's Juneteenth. So it's Juneteenth, and with black people worldwide, BLM is everywhere. In all of our glory, we are finally feeling like this movement is starting to do something. That you look at the cop that killed Rashard Brooks, you see how fast he got charged with a multitude of charges. You know what I'm saying? You seen what happened?
Expeditiously,
I would say. Expeditiously, my nigga. You look at what happened with the cops with George Floyd. They need to fucking do something about Breonna Taylor.
I read somewhere that they're going to charge at least one.
No, they need to charge all of those motherfuckers.
One of them got fired. One of them got fired recently.
Right, but either way, you see the gander of Black Lives Matter right now, right? So, we see what's going on, and then my man Cash has to go to work and hear this bullshit.
So, on Thursday, June 18th, I posed the question to my colleagues, like, yo, so what's up? We observing June 19th as a holiday, right? And this is a group chat, this is very descriptive at this point, but this is a group chat with many people. And the first person to reply to my message, a member of the
trans community.
Right. There we go. Thank you. I didn't know the word.
I'm well versed.
Thank you.
I live in Atlanta.
And so when I said By
the way, I saw that Chappelle show live when he recorded it. He locked up our phones and shit. Man, I died laughing.
Which one?
The one where he was talking about the alphabet people.
Yeah,
real?
I saw it live. It was
dope.
amazing. The fact that he had the balls to do that. But go on.
That nigga should run for president.
But that nigga said, we in Atlanta, and I know there's a lot of gay men in here with their wives.
Bro, I died, bro, because it's so true. I got to, not to get off topic, but on some real shit, like when I moved down to Atlanta, I remember the first place I worked, there was a guy who said, he was like, he's like, there's a lot of guys you'll meet and you'll think they're gay, but they'll introduce you to their wife. A white boy told me this shit. Real shit. Like,
white people be so fucking clueless.
And I was like, what do you mean? He's
what
like,
the fuck are you
he's like,
talking
there's a lot of
about?
guys you'll think you're gay, but then they'll introduce you to their wife. I'm like, oh.
Okay,
like,
so
I
you're a
wasn't
fucking
expecting
idiot.
that.
So you're a fucking dummy. But anyway.
But
So
yeah,
go on.
Get back to your story.
so the member of the trans community responded to me when I asked, is Juneteenth going to be observed as a holiday? She says, no. Right? She says, no. Why would you think
I
that?
thought you said absolutely not.
Well, yeah. She said, absolutely not. If Pride Day doesn't get observed as a holiday, why would Juneteenth?
Okay, so this was a white trans.
Wait. So this trans community member stated that, she was emotional about why would I feel like Juneteenth would be a holiday versus a Pride Day, whatever you have. So now I didn't say anything to that message because I personally felt like if I said anything to her, that would be more offensive than what she said to me.
So basically you're saying you didn't respond because you didn't want to be out of pocket in your response.
Straight up. So for me, I'm like, damn. So I call my niggas first chance I get. I'm like, yo, would you believe this shit? And niggas is like, nigga, that's some bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, yo,
So you call your niggas at work.
So he called you.
I call Chiz.
Okay.
I call Chiz.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I call Chiz 3 minutes
Not
after
the most sensitive person to call, but
yeah, but
sure.
if I'm looking for 100% transparency and like just unfiltered honesty, I'm getting it from my guy. So I call my nigga and he's like, yo, I'm fucking offended by you telling me this story. Like,
Damn.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, because I didn't feel like I was in any position to speak up, right? And that's because but now I'm developing things, I'm unpeeling it back, and I'm looking at back like, yo, like there's no way that the discrimination against the LGBTQ community is equivalent in any way or higher.
Can I just, I'm gonna jump in. And the reason I'm gonna jump in is this. I don't like the fact that we
make it a competition.
Sometimes, the competition.
It is a competition.
No, but the reason I don't like it, is because I don't feel like it comes from our side most of the time, where we're like, we're necessarily trying to say like, oh man, like we're the most oppressed people in the nation. Because a lot of times when you look at what Black people are actually asking for, like some
regular shit.
I think Michael Shave said it best. He's like, we're not asking to be better. Right? He said we just want to matter. Right? That's all we're asking for. So that's why for me, like, I don't like when people take the LGBTQ thing, feminism, all that stuff, and you try to mix it together like, well, you guys are all asking for the same thing, and we should be aligned and blah, blah. Now, with that being said, I know there's a huge movement. A lot of people believe that because Black people are quote unquote so homophobic and leave out the LGBTQ community a lot of the times. And they say a lot of people of color are hateful towards them. They get beat up, all types of things.
Some people get killed.
I've heard all that.
And that's fucked up.
It is fucked up. I don't think anybody should be killed. But at the end of the day, here's what I'll say. If I walk into a room, I'm Black as hell.
Right.
I don't care how much Sammy Sosa bleaching I do. You see my nose, you know what it is. I'm blackety black. Right. Now, if you're part of the LGBTQ community, and let's say you're part of the T community specifically, some of you can walk into a room and everybody's going to want you. All the cis males are going to want you, not knowing that you had some work done under the hood.
Right.
Right? You can get away from it. You don't, the bias isn't there immediately every single time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that benefit,
Right.
which is why I feel like when they try to say like, oh, well, if things aren't equal for us, they can't be equal for them. All due respect, if you're technically a white man in this country.
Exactly. So what do you say to the trans black person, whomever,
Trans
who
black
has to
people
deal-
get killed
who
at
has
a
to
higher
deal
rate
with
than
both?
any other
Who has to
group.
deal with both? They have to deal with the discrimination of being.
You don't say shit. There's nothing you can say.
I mean, for me, I would say just stay in your lane, bro.
Okay, here's how I look at it. This is how I look at it. I think it's when we're moving for a cause. Your coworker, the white trans, is fucking racist, right? That's how I look at it.
Point blank.
Right. That's how I look
But I
at it.
can't tell her.
No. It's okay. You can say that. You can say that because for everything that's going on in the world right now, for her to say some selfish shit like that is OD.
Well, that's
but anyway,
been going on.
But that's OD, right? That's neither here nor there. I want to talk for the black trans. I want to talk for the you know what I mean, the women who identify as men and the men who identify as women and things of that nature. The reason why I want to speak for them is because, yes, I do feel like a lot of the times we forget about them.
Absolutely.
We do forget about them because of the way that we was raised and the way that we think of the world, right? And that's just that it's a whole new world for us when it comes to shit like that. Like, I'm keeping it G.
That's a
like
fact.
we're not used to it. When I don't know any openly gay people in my family, fam. I don't know any openly trans people in my family or even like in some of my closest friends' families.
You know what's crazy, bro? Sorry to cut you off. I was actually reading about a white guy who was a serial killer back in the 70s and 80s, going into the 90s. And majority of his people that he was killing were black that he was picking up from gay bars.
Okay.
And nobody gave a fuck about him, right?
Nobody gave a fuck about it because they were black and they were gay.
Of the pole.
Right? Now, this is a different time, right? The LGBTQ community, the whole community as a whole, it doesn't matter, you know, whatever you identify
I feel like
as.
they stronger.
They're starting, right. So, and that's the argument, right? That's the argument. I feel like a lot of the times we look at it as, damn, you know, we've been fighting for us, like, you know what I mean, black people for years, for decades, for generations. And this whole LGBTQ agenda comes around and now they have more spotlight on it. I don't think it should be a competition. I do not think it should be like, you know, what I'm hearing a lot of right now is Black Lives Matter. And then, you know, Black trans lives matter. And I'm like, so are you telling me you don't identify as black? You're a specific type of black. Look around in this room, there's specific types of blacks all around. Amy identifies as black, but we all know what her specific type of black is. You see what I'm saying? Like, and things of that nature. Daniela identifies as black, but we know what her specific type of black is. So for you, your sexual preference has to take precedence over the whole BLM movement, I feel is very selfish. From a heterosexual point of view.
Selfish.
It's, in my opinion, because it's just more like, why does it matter what kind of black you are? Let's talk about this black and then let's fix this shit amongst ourselves.
There shouldn't be types of black.
No, because this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
You know what I mean?
You're right. But what's happening is that our own people are killing these people that we don't understand.
For no reason.
And that's where their frustration comes from, which I understand. I'm not going to say I don't understand it, bro. Look at fucking Marvin Gaye. He got killed by his dad because he was getting high.
Some shit.
It wasn't on no black on black shit then. It was just like, I don't agree with your lifestyle, so I'm killing you.
Killing you, nigga. You doing heroin?
And that's and you could say it's not the same, but it's the same. It's the same ideology in your mind. I disagree with what you're doing and what you feel. So now you have to die.
Yeah.
Right? We need to cut that shit out. But that's the shit that comes with us. Like, I think people should just allow people to live their fucking life how they do it, how they want to live it. And it doesn't matter. As long as it's not hurting anybody else, who the fuck cares what they do?
Do you?
You want, I mean, you want who you fucking, who you have in your bedroom has nothing
and
to do with
that's
me,
one
dog.
thing I don't understand. Like, so recently, I don't know if it was Congress or whatever passed the law about how somebody can't be fired for their sexual preference.
Right.
Can I say I was honestly surprised.
Why?
I didn't even know that it wasn't illegal yet for you to fire. Like, I was like, how does this even come up? You're like, hey, Fred, I know you used to be Susie. Get the fuck out of here. We don't need. Like, I didn't know. Like, and I don't mean to be insensitive, but I had no idea that this was a thing where it's like, because of your sexual preference or your trans life or whatever, that people were being fired or could. But see, when I heard that, you know how I felt about it? I was more like, why the fuck was this even allowed for all this time? That's what I thought to myself. I'm like, bruh, you're telling me you're going to fire this person because of their sexual preference or their orientation? That didn't make sense to me. I didn't know that was a problem in this country. How did we let that go on for so long? All right. Like, when we talk about civil rights and all these things, like, I do believe in equity for everyone. Like, everybody should be allowed to live their lives, like Chiz says, if it doesn't hurt anyone else, if it doesn't bother anyone else. Like, why do I give a fuck who you're fucking?
Right.
I'm married.
Right.
I can only fuck one woman. I'm trying to convince her of otherwise, but for now, that's where I'm at.
Cut that part out.
So
Cut
what
that
do
part
I
out.
care what you're doing? Because all I'm concerned about is that. That's all I can be concerned about. Therefore, it's like the people who sit there and think about, like, I hate gays, I'm like, why? What are they doing? Is it that you might secretly want to be that way and you all of a sudden have a problem with it? Because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think of, like, I'm not hitting it thinking about other dudes, like, doing what they're doing. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm doing my thing.
See. I'm sorry. If I may. Bro, the same thing that you were just talking about right now, the same questions you were asking is the exact same thing that we've been fighting for over how many hundreds of years now?
450.
Right? And I can speak from personal experience. I was born in Haiti.
Yeah.
I remember coming to America.
Wait, hold on. You legal, nigga? From that shithole country?
He got 2 birthdays.
Ask Steven how old he is.
Who adopted you?
Shout out to my Haitians with 2 birthdays, man.
Right? I remember having to fight black people and white people.
Yeah.
Haitian booty scratcher, all that.
Right? All that, bro. So it's like, and it's not again, I fuck with the LGBTQIA community.
Where are you getting these extra letters?
No, they just changed this shit. It's
Jesus Christ. No.
LGBTQIA.
No
bullshit.
Go on.
All right, but it just got updated.
Yo, go ahead.
Stay off that Wikipedia, dog.
No
Anybody
bullshit.
can edit that shit.
So I fuck with the whole community, like, no bullshit. Like, but realistically, I don't feel bad because, in a sense, like, we had to go through the same battles. And the questions that you're asking now are the exact same things that we've been asking for hundreds of years.
They're going to get faster results.
Excuse me for not being like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Like, it's like, nah, nigga, like, let's go ahead and figure out a solution. But nigga, we've been trying to figure out a solution
You're
for
saying
over
their
400
struggle
years.
isn't unique.
No,
Nigga,
it's not. Because they're not easily identified.
I agree with that.
It's just what it is. It's just what it is.
It's
back to the black.
Let's take it back to that Chappelle special. When Chappelle said, the LGBTQ community is like a whole bunch of people in one car heading to the same destination.
That was very good.
It's a great analogy.
And a lot of people don't be missing his shit.
He said,
oh my gosh.
And he says,
Chappelle
who's driving? He said, who's driving? The G's are driving. The G says, I've been here before. Yeah. I've been on these roads. I know these roads. In fact, I have built these roads. And I think that's why the LGBTQ community is getting there further, faster than us. Because the G's don't all look like us.
Exactly.
Wait, he said, do you ever ask yourself why it was easier for Bruce Jenner to change his gender than it was for Muhammad Ali
to change his last name?
Like, that was the realest shit I ever heard, because I'm like, that's crazy. He wanted
he's
to change his
fast,
name, and they wanted to call him Clay.
So this is my argument for my black LGBTQ allies, right? I love y'all, I respect y'all, and understand that I'm in your corner. But when it comes to our agenda, us as a race, us as a people, there should be nothing that trumps that.
Facts.
Because this is a fight we've been fighting way before anything, bro. I don't know what it feels like to be an American slave, and I'm gonna get into that in a second. Like I have no idea what that culture is.
You work in the car business,
you know, but you know what I mean.
You are
the American culture. The American culture is something that I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? Because like we Haitian, man. Like,
facts.
Yeah, I mean we don't. Juneteenth. This is the first Juneteenth in 2020. I am 30 years old. This is the first Juneteenth that I even acknowledge that it's Juneteenth.
This is the first Juneteenth that I've seen celebrated as much, but it doesn't take away from
it. Doesn't take away from it.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is this: we need to fix our shit first. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that nobody else matters, but what I'm saying is Black Lives Matter. All Black Lives matter. We shouldn't pinpoint on which ones matter more and things of that nature.
It's a competition, man.
It shouldn't be.
That's what it is.
I think Chiz is right. Here's the thing. We've seen this in American history before, right? Before white women could vote, I hope I'm not misquoting this, but I believe before white women could vote, black people were allowed to vote, and then they allowed women to start voting after that.
Black men. Then white women,
but
then black women.
Right. But here's the problem. The reason I brought that specific point up is when we fracture the movement, why do we have to talk about which people should be treated like human beings?
Facts.
Why do we have to talk about which people deserve a right to live their life and pursue happiness and be free? The reality is every single person should have the opportunity to pursue happiness and be free as long as they're not hurting somebody else. We don't have to fracture the movements. Now, I know what ends up happening. When you have these movements, some of these other movements, it's like they feel like they're ignored. Nobody's fighting specifically for them. But it's like when people talk about, I forgot who said this, when they talk about cancer, right? If somebody says, well, breast cancer matters, nobody says all cancer matters.
Right.
I forget who said this. I wish I could give them credit. But it's like that. It's like cancer is bad.
They don't do that.
Let's get rid of it. Treating people like shit for whatever reason, whether you're gay, black, an immigrant, whatever, is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that to people. Honestly, I don't walk into a room and scope the room and go, oh, there goes that Asian motherfucker. I'm going to go make fun of this guy.
Right.
That's who I want to go pick on today. Why would I do that? He's in there enjoying his time. Why do I have to infringe on that? As long as he doesn't infringe on me having a good time, I probably won't talk to him. And if he's cool and wants to buy me shots, fuck it. Buy me shots.
Word.
I'll buy you shots. And we all just chill. And if he doesn't want to talk to me at all, guess what? I have no problem not talking to him.
It's okay.
It doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. You know, one of the things I hate about this country, the fact that there were so many attempts by black folks when Abraham Lincoln allegedly wanted to free the slaves, because this is why I said I have a problem with Abraham Lincoln. So I recently started listening to this audiobook called something like Marked from the Beginning or something like that. And it goes through how Abraham Lincoln did not want to end slavery because he was some righteous person who loved black people. Abraham Lincoln's only objective was to save the Union. And he literally said, and you can look it up yourself, if keeping slaves saves the Union, then that's what I'll do.
I remember that.
If abolishing slavery saves the Union, then that's what I'll do. If some people can keep their slaves, then some places you abolish slavery, and that keeps the Union, that's what I'll do.
Slave owners got reparations for letting
they
go
got
of
paid
their,
for
they
letting
got
go of
paid
their
for
slaves.
letting go of their slaves, not the slaves.
Which is what I wanted to get into next.
Let's go.
So the next thing I want to talk about is reparations, right? Because I've been hearing a lot of reparations talk, right? We can call it bullshit.
Yo, Chiz, I'm gonna let you finish, but Haitians had the best revolution in the world, dog.
I agree. But what I want to talk about right now is reparations. I've been hearing a lot of reparations talk. I've been hearing a lot of descendant talk, right? I've been hearing about the stipulations that they're going to put on reparations. And it doesn't surprise me. Because anything they're going to do to help black people, they got to put some stipulations on it, right? It's never just going to be some free willy, all you niggas is going to get some bread. Because we all seen the parody in Chappelle's show when black people receive reparations on what happened.
I'm rich, bitch!
Right. That's where that came from. But like my man KASH was just saying, people who are descendants of islanders, people who are descendants of anywhere else that was enslaved but wasn't in the continental U.S. of A., we are not entitled to any of those reparations.
Correct.
Because what I'm hearing now is that they want to have people prove their slaveness.
Correct. How much of a slave were you? How much cotton? How much cotton have you actually picked?
Are you fucking serious?
Dead ass.
That's the thing. Like no. So like that. Oh, you didn't hear about it. So what they're doing is the talks are of say there is reparations for African American slave descendants.
They want the first slaves.
They want
the ones that landed in Jamestown.
Where
they want to know
off the boat, nigga.
What is your last name?
Where in Ghana were you snatched up from? And where in Jamestown, Virginia did you land?
So that's the thing, right? So you're supposed to be able to prove your slaveness. We all Haitian in this room. Ain't we nigga shit. And if you go up the upline on my mom's side of the family, nigga, it's all white. So I'm fucked either way. Right. Right. So
that's why they did
it. Right. So either way, I get nothing. But I digress. This is what they want to give niggas. For all the people who can prove their slaveness, 6 figures, 350,000 a pop.
That's enough to start a small business.
Yo, 350,000 that ain't shit after taxes, my nigga.
Come on,
it's
Steve.
still enough to start a small business.
Shut up! Don't do that. Shut up.
So go ahead.
Shut
350
up, man. What you gonna say about 350?
350 a pop.
Nigga, I must say that's bullshit.
Let's go on. So 350 a pop.
Word.
Better than 40 acres in the
All right, let me hear the bullshit so I can
burn it down. All right, let's take 350 and we'll burn it down to 175.
Can we agree that 350 a pop is better than 0?
Yeah, right? Obviously.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's call it 175. Let's say they get 175.
The reason why I give a fuck about this reparations talk is that a lot of other countries who had slaves, they came out and gave public apologies. They came out and gave land back to certain people and things of that nature all around the world.
Yeah.
But the U.S. would fucking never.
But you have to understand, you have to understand, the Civil War was not about slavery.
We understand that.
So if the Civil War was about saving the Union, all they wanted to do was get back to being happy and singing Kumbaya as soon as possible. Abraham Lincoln wanted to build colonies for niggas, Liberia, Haiti. That's what he wanted to do. He didn't want, because they thought if you freed black people in this country, it wouldn't work. That's what they honestly believe.
Well, I mean, I can understand why, because the foundation was to have these niggas work for free.
And it was built. And they watched it get built. Like they had a whole strong foundation built off of black people. So for them, they're like, yo, the results worked.
Here's how I feel about reparations. Give it to the people who were here. Give it to the people who have ancestors of slaves. Because Dave Chappelle talked about how his great-grandfather was a slave. Give it to them. I don't care. Because you know what? Immigrants come here and grind anyway.
Word.
We start at negative 500 by default, because when you come here and you're an immigrant, unless you have no family, you're probably trying to get like 8 other motherfuckers to come over here too.
What's crazy is,
and you're sending money back.
Indentured, and they were called indentured servants, and they were also Europeans, but the Europeans were granted slavery. Granted freedom after their slavery.
They could buy their way out.
You could work your way to it.
Right.
You could work your way to it.
There were black folks who could buy their way out too, though. Initially.
No, that's cool. That's all a piece of history. But if you was given 350,000 right now, what would you do with it?
I'm buying some big ass rims for my Cadillac. I'm not gonna front. I love y'all.
No,
and I love y'all.
That's
where did you get a Cadillac?
Huh?
And
where did you get a Cadillac?
And no. And
why are you driving a Cadillac?
And that's
right
why they will give you that money.
Where did you get this Cadillac?
I'm buying a Cadillac.
All right. I know you're joking, but understand.
He's literally driving a Cadillac. He pulled up in a Cadillac. I'm trying to figure out.
I got a caddy outside. It's nice too, nigga.
Is it a rental?
Yeah, it's a rental, but I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna buy one, nigga. That
you know what? Here's how I feel about that. Forget 350,000. Give me 100 and classes. No, 100,000 tax free and classes on financial literacy, opening businesses, buying property, getting a trust.
Man,
I tried to explain.
man.
I'm serious, because without financial literacy, the money means nothing.
Because
bro,
most people like.
This is
I
the
know
only
you were
nigga
joking,
that keeps
bro.
letting the microphone
Because
get in the way, dog. This
I
nigga is a fucking klutz.
I-
But anyway, keep going.
I understand you were joking, bro. But what he's saying is the catalyst. Because no matter how, like, I shit you not, and a lot of historians have said the exact same shit. If you take all the money in the world away from every single rich, wealthy person, you spread it out evenly,
It'll end up back right in their hands. That's
Why?
a fact. Because they know how money works.
Right.
You
That's
have to know how money works.
That's it.
My mother. So, okay, let's talk about this. I sat with my parents for a while today because I hadn't seen them in a long time. And my mom was telling me about, now my mom is a very apprehensive, anxious type of person, right? So she's like, oh, back in the 90s, it was easy to get homes and such bought all these homes, but then they ended up losing them. She's like, I never wanted to get involved because if no one's renting those properties, how do I pay for them? And I said, well, Mom, because she talked about ruining her credit. I said, well, Mom, you shouldn't have all those homes in your name. You should have it in like an LLC. And if you fuck the business up, but your personal credit is still okay because it's a limited liability corporation.
you fucking right.
But how would my mother know this? She's a Haitian immigrant who didn't study business. She's in the healthcare field. She's a nurse. She doesn't know shit like that. What we don't understand is there are conversations that happen in rooms every single day.
Right.
You don't learn financial literacy in school.
Nah, which is kind of why I asked the question, what would you do with 350,000?
Give me 100, put the classes in, and I guarantee you'll flip that 100. Because think about it this way. 10 years ago, you gave every nigga $100,000. They all decided, you know what? I'm going to get Bitcoin before this shit pops. Because the people who knew, you know where Bitcoin was popular initially? South America. And countries and other countries where they had volatile currencies, where people didn't know what your money would be worth tomorrow. Those are the people who used to use Bitcoin initially. And then Bitcoin became a vehicle to hold and make all this money because everybody's like, oh shit, I heard about this Bitcoin shit. I'm going to invest in it now when it's $10,000 instead of when you could have bought Bitcoin for probably $50 10 years ago.
Right.
And if you had held on to that shit, you'd be rich by default.
Word.
Guys who bought Facebook when it first came out. Guys who bought Amazon when it first came out.
That's all cool. You said what you would do with the 350. Or less than that.
Give me 100.
What would you do, Cash?
I'm gonna fuck up. I'm not gonna front. I'm gonna fuck up.
Let's fuck up, Carlos.
I'm gonna fuck up 250 easy. Everybody eating. We eating
that only
good.
leaves you 100,000.
I know. I'm gonna flip it.
And let's all assume that this is untaxed, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Hypothetically speaking, we know how money works.
That's me waking up one day.
Idiots.
That's me waking up one day at my bank account at what it is right now, and then the next day waking up with 350.
Nigga, you spend it before they decided to take it back. That's what most people would do. They'd be like, oh, these white people don't fuck up. I'm going to fuck this money up before they come back and get it.
For us to think that black people are about to completely flip themselves.
You have to say poor people.
I'm sorry.
Because the black people with money who got it would flip that shit.
Right.
You can't tell me Damon John is going to take that money and fuck it up.
Yo, poor people who get that 350, bro, they not going to flip this economy to make it any better. They not. And how many?
Some of them will.
Come on, man.
Very few of them.
Come on, man. Let's be real. All right, but the majority of them won't. The majority of them is going to continue the cycle to continue to fuck them up.
Do you think poor people are poor because they don't know how to deal with money or because they don't have money?
They don't know
I think it's because they don't know how to deal.
Right.
I'm still learning how to deal with money.
With all due respect, How much money have you spent on learning how to deal with money?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
That's a really good
$0.
question.
$0 and 0 cents.
I've spent some of my own money to learn because, even to me, simple things, just small things like paying for books. Small things like paying for
books?
Books.
I could write something off to some books.
Books on what?
Newspaper subscriptions, magazine subscriptions. Because you can get the Financial Times, you can get the Wall Street Journal, you can get all these things. Just by reading that stuff every day, you're going to start to learn the way certain things work. Right. But the reality is, like Steven said, you have to invest in yourself to learn that, because we don't have a rich uncle who's going to put us on game, or an uncle who's in business. Well, he does, but I should say, but you, okay, if you have an uncle who's going to put you on game, fantastic. If you have a father who's going to put you on game, fantastic. But how do you take a group of people who have been historically disenfranchised, who don't have the money, who get pushed back every time they move forward, and tell them, hey, you guys need to pull yourself up? I hate the bootstraps thing. I hate when I hear that bootstrap shit, that crabs in a barrel shit. Stop it. Stop it. You want poor people to be poor, because you know what poor people do?
They buy.
Poor people get a $1,200 check
and they blow it.
And they go to Walmart and they go to other places and they spend it on things. People who are financially literate, even if they're poor, will be like, okay, I came up on this $1,200. What am I going to do with it next? How do I get the most return on my money? How do I make my money make money? Poor people don't think about making money make money. We will go, and I've done it. Listen, I loved, and I hope none of my family members are watching this, but I loved titty bars. I really did. Like, for me, like, I loved it. I loved throwing the money.
Man,
I loved the excitement.
Man, I love them scribbles. Man, I love them scribbles.
So I like that environment. I like feeling like the man when I could just blow money. I like being able to go to the private room in the back. But you know what the reality is? That money, I could have taken that same money, balled it up, and set it on fire, and it would have had the same effect. The only difference is maybe with me going to that establishment. Actually, let me tell you guys a story. So one time, it was my girl's birthday, December 18th. Okay, her friends come in from Florida. It's snowing everywhere. It's a mess. At the time, I had an all-wheel drive vehicle. I'm like, yo, what are we gonna do tonight? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, yo, let's go to the titty bar. So we go out to an establishment in Stoughton. Some of y'all have been there. Some of y'all are not. We get there, it's snowing, whatever. And we walk in and we go, what time are you guys closing? Because the storm was starting. They're like, oh, we're going to close at midnight, whatever. So we get in there. First girl gets on, whatever. She ain't really doing much, whatever. So we don't tip her. Next few girls come out, they're working. Tip. Right? All of a sudden, the club stays open till 1:30.
Yeah.
Okay? We kept the place open. But the point I'm making is that was fun for us at the time. But the reality is it was a waste of money. Like, if I knew then what I knew now, there's no way I'd go in and spend that kind of money in an establishment like that, even if it helps somebody else eat. But the reality is, how am I bettering myself? Like, how did I make my life better by doing that?
You didn't.
So that's really big what he just said right there, because right now what I'm getting is support black business. Fuck everything else. Which is
listen, real quick. If reparations was to happen, just throw a number out there. How many record labels do you feel would start overnight?
Come on, man. That's not.
Hold on. Wait.
5,000.
That's not even
I don't think.
Hold on. Wait.
Not because now people can stream and YouTube and all that. I don't think that would happen.
No bullshit. I shit you not. Right now, fuck how many of them would happen. How many of them would fail within the next 90 days?
I don't give a fuck how many of them would fail. I just think it would be funny to see how many niggas thought they could run a fucking music label.
People would do a lot of stupid things with their money.
Absolutely. There's no way you could think that.
How many dubs, how many rims would be on the road?
I'd get big ass rims for the caddy, dog. I'm not fronting. I'm a smart ass nigga, man.
We already know this because people who win the lottery usually go broke within 3 years.
You know what's funny, man? I've become accustomed to a very minimalistic lifestyle. Right?
I got one spoon in my house.
The illest Shut the fuck up.
You took your bite? I took your bite?
Bite. Hey, babe, you want to do it like that? Bite.
We can't both be having soup, bitch.
Nigga, you eat the pasta, I'll have the cereal.
You can ask my wife. Like, I always tell her, like, yo, I don't care to spend money on that because it doesn't matter, right? We don't fucking need it. Let's spend bread on some shit that we need.
How long did it take you to get there?
Well, you see, all right, so double-edged sword. I've been there for years, but I also have bad vices myself that I've started to learn to get rid of. Weed, I don't spend no money on weed no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that I do not want to spend on.
That's how I cope with my depression.
Shut the fuck up. There's a lot of things that I will not spend money on because I don't like spending money on shit that I don't need, right? I feel like once people get past that hump, that's the hardest battle. Yeah. That's the hardest battle.
That's a fact.
That's the fucking hardest battle, bro. Because how many times niggas done did shit just to keep up with the Joneses? Straight up.
But you know what? Here's how I feel, and I hate to talk about this man because of the recent information that came out about, or the recent tweets he had. But Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? And Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Fuck Robert Kiyosaki.
Nah, I'm talking about Robert Kiyosaki. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
I fuck with Robert Kiyosaki. So he was out of pocket.
Here's what he said.
He can still suck
when he wanted his first, I don't know if it was a Ferrari or Porsche he wanted. But when he wanted that luxury sports luxury vehicle, what he did is he created an income. He got an income generating asset to pay for that frivolous item because he didn't need that Ferrari or Porsche, whatever it was. Right? He didn't need to have it, but he wanted it. Before he got it, he made sure he could generate the income to pay for that item. I don't have a problem. I think you should spend money on whatever you want to spend it on, as long as it doesn't fuck up the house's money.
Right.
If you can't pay your rent because you bought something, or you can't pay your car note or your insurance because you bought something, you fucked up.
Right.
Now, if you tell me, yo, listen, I got money coming in from everywhere, I decided to do something stupid today. Because rich people do that too. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
Right.
Bill Gates doesn't drive a fucking Volkswagen Jetta or some shit. Like, he was one of the first people who said if he got an electric car, it'd be the Porsche electric car. I think he got beef with Elon Musk, whatever. But like he would spend money on stuff like that because it's like if he wants to spend the money, he's earned the right to spend the money that way. Do you think these rich people live in terrible shacks and studio apartments? And their homes are immaculate.
But that's why I agree with what you said. It's the education.
Education is the most important part of this thing. But you know what? You can never forget the fact that why do you think they didn't want us to read for so long? There's a common saying that goes, if you want to hide something from a black person, that bitch in a book. We all heard it.
Right.
We all heard
that.
Not
a coincidence.
And I crack books. I crack books.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying like that's where the power is. But that's why I think right now, like if we go back,
it seem like you just dumb as shit.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying.
It don't matter how hard you try.
Let me finish this point.
You're just gonna be a dumb nigga forever.
I think that's why when we go back to why are things changing so much? Why was this George Floyd killing the reason? You know what? I looked up today? You know what I looked up today? Black Lives Matter. The founders of the Black Lives Matter movement
are probably white.
No, not at all. They're 3 black women who are all college educated, right? So black women per capita or whatever are the most educated group of women in the United States of America.
I agree.
Now, think about that. Black Lives Matter was founded by 3 black educated women. The power is in the knowledge.
Yeah.
Always. The power has always been in the knowledge.
Fact.
That's why we had redacted versions of the Bible. That's why they didn't want to teach slaves to read. The power is in the knowledge. It doesn't matter how much money you have. The United States of America to me is one of the greatest countries in the world because you can use credit. Jay-Z said it on 444. You know why the Jews own half the buildings in New York?
Credit. You say you want to know what's more important than spending all this money in the strip clubs?
Credit.
You want to know how all the white people, all the Jewish people in America own all the property?
Credit.
That's how they did it. Yeah.
So the knowledge is the power. We keep thinking like we got to get the money before we can do stuff. Like there's this podcast called Bigger Pockets. There's this one episode about this young lady who is from, I think she's from Michigan. She's from Michigan. I don't remember if it was Detroit or not, but she's from Michigan. And she started buying homes that were like, they were going for nothing. Because a bunch of factories moved out of Michigan. People left the homes. You could buy a home in Michigan for $15,000.
Yeah.
Some places $5,000. And I might be misquoting the numbers, but it was dumb cheap, right? Dumb cheap. And what she did is she was a single mother. I don't even remember if I don't believe she was college educated, but she started buying homes in areas she knew. Because she's like, a lot of people think this area is messed up, but I know this area. It's not that bad. She started buying homes, and she did that on credit. She started with like $5,000. It's not about the money. It's about the knowledge. The more you keep thinking about it's about the money, you're getting fooled into believing you have to chase it. Because you know what the reality is? None of us will ever make... You know what my number is? I don't know if everyone has a number.
What's your number?
My number is 330 million. That's my number to stop working, let my money make money for me, 330 million. And when I tell people that number, they're like, that's insane. Like, why would you pick that number?
May I ask you why?
I think that number is a fallacy. Here's what poor people need to do. Let's forget about making money from working hard, because making money from sweat doesn't make most people rich. We know that already. Right. We've seen it. The reality is, so car business, right? I met a woman one time. And this story, I'm telling this story because it shows you what we don't know. I met a woman one time, white woman, right? She comes in, run her credit. She has nothing on there. Never financed anything, never borrowed money, whatever.
But she was an 800.
So her score wasn't even that great. But here's what happened. I'm going through her credit application with her, and she puts down she owns a home. I said, okay, what's the mortgage on the home? She says, I own it outright. I said, what? Okay. I was like, I see how much you make. I see how you're dressed. I'm a pretty good judge of people at this point. I've been in the retail industry for a while. I can size you up pretty much. I know what you're writing me a check for. I know your credit score. Oftentimes, just by looking at you, I don't call that prejudice. I call that tactical analysis.
Oh, that's good.
Let's call it that.
I like it in the fucking military.
So now I'm talking to this woman, and she goes, "Oh, well, here's what happened. My father died.
And he paid that shit.
The rest of my siblings all had homes already. So I got the house."
That's lit. Wow. Good for you.
Generational wealth. One thing a lot of people who are poor don't realize, you can pay for an insurance policy. If you got it when you were 21, you can change the beneficiary anytime. So when you have a wife, kids, husband, kids, nephews, adopted children, whatever you end up having in your life, you can change the beneficiary at any time. Why is it that black people die and you need a GoFundMe to do the funeral?
Right.
To support their family. I've seen what some people like to refer to, and I don't like the term, as white trash, come up because someone died. You ever heard the term windfall?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen for niggas.
Nah.
A windfall is when you get money from the sky, manna coming from the sky to you by pure luck, because somebody somewhere thought of you to write you into some kind of contract or agreement.
Even though you ain't doing shit.
And you ain't shit. And that might be a 1% of what they have. But that money allows you to now buy a home, build a business, set your children up for college. Windfalls don't happen to poor people a lot of the times, but specifically people of color. But it's not because it's not available to them. It's because they don't understand money. They don't understand how this system works. You can get free money. Cash, if I got an insurance policy today, I'm 33 years old. I'm overweight. They're going to charge me a little more. Okay? And I drink and whatever. They'll charge me a little more. But if I got an insurance policy today and I died in 2 years, as long as I paid my premium every year, if I got $1 million policy, my wife gets $1 million. My children get $1 million. My sister, if I put her as a beneficiary, gets $1 million. Fuck it. Let's say I don't want to pay for all that. I get $100,000 policy. You can get a home loan with 3.5% down if you go FHA.
Right.
If you go conventional, it's 20%.
Okay.
So, 20%. $100,000 is a $500,000 home.
So
if you live in Boston and you need to buy a home.
With all that being said, right, financial literacy is one of the things that are lacking deeply with the defined.
Poor people. That's the term. Unfortunately, a lot of us are those.
It's poor people. Yeah. You're right. But what I want to do right now is bring this in for a landing, right? Because we talked about a lot of things. We touched on a lot of things. What do you feel like all people are part of this community, Black people, like currently, poor, wealthy, immigrants, whatever, indifferent, what do you feel like we can all do to help push our agenda, us as a people, so we can get what we want from society as far as fairness and equality?
Like, literally, like Cece was saying earlier, like, it's crazy. I coach high school football. I do consulting. I do a lot of different things. And in all reality, when I talk to these young cats, they're not educated about the same things that the Jewish community is being educated about.
Right.
There's no reason why when this little dude's having his bar mitzvah, he's being brought to a bank and having the full tour of the bank, right? And in all actuality, like, yo, why don't we get that knowledge in our community? Why isn't that there's no community within our spectrum that's actually putting shit together where we can go?
No, I have to stop you there. You can't say that because we don't know about every community and everything. Yeah, because I know for a fact at RCC they have classes on stuff like that.
No, I'm not talking about the classes. I'm talking about at 12 years old.
I see what you're saying.
At 12 years old, taking that kid into a bank and saying, you're starting a bank account. Hey, at 12 years old, I'm going to help you build your credit. At 12 years old, I'm going to put a bill under your name, but it's not because my credit's fucked up. It's because I want you to have an 800 credit score
by the time you're 18. Right.
I'm going to defer to Cash because Cash looks like he has
education is all I'm going to say, but
Cash look like he about to say some
Yeah, go ahead. Go say some shit because,
my mom brought me into a bank when I was 13.
Huh?
My mom brought me into a bank when I was 13.
Okay.
We opened up a bank account.
What happened?
Nothing.
Okay. Again.
But I'm not.
No. Let me ask you a question. Did she educate you when she went into the bank?
No, because she was an educator herself.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. So, but wait,
it's the blind leading the blind.
But wait. Here's what I said. We not gonna see results until we die.
No.
Wait.
Nah, elaborate.
Yeah, because my mother, I'm going to teach my child from birth now what I think is education enough for her to learn.
Enough? What's enough?
What I know and what I feel like I know I need to learn more. And so in that thinking, I can only give her what I know. I can't give her what I don't know.
Okay.
I disagree with Cash. I think your job as a parent isn't necessarily to give. Obviously, the knowledge you have, yes, you're going to pass on to your children. That goes without saying, or it should go without saying. Your job as a parent is to equip your child with the tools to learn as much as possible, to be as great as possible. So you give them what you know, but we know what we know is limited by default,
right?
Because we are where we are, right? If we knew what the Zuckerbergs of the world knew and the Gates of the world knew and the Jenners, whatever, like if we knew what they knew, let's put it this way. I hate to bring this up, but you know Kylie Jenner became a billionaire off of her mother basically talking up her company, forging documents and things of that nature. But the thing is, I don't care that they did that. I respect the hustle. Because America ain't about being clean.
Fucks no.
Capitalism isn't about being clean and doing the right thing. It's about making money. She pumped her company up to the point where, and because Kris Jenner was getting a percentage, she pumped the company up to the point where another company wanted to buy it. They sold it off. Boom, she gets her money, move on, and you get the status, whatever, right? But she had that knowledge, but at the same time, she actually helped her get the tools to build herself up to the point where she was in that position. Our job is to equip our children with tools. If we know it's a war outside, don't give your kids sticks and stones.
Give them a fucking Uzi.
Give them a fucking rocket launcher. Right. Give them a tank, bro.
Education.
Like, that's what we're supposed to do.
Education.
Because no matter how broke you are, the library's free.
Right, it's free as fuck.
The internet is not free, but once you have it, you have access to everything that's on it.
It's free at the library.
It's free at the library.
It's
or you can go to Starbucks. Niggas can actually go to Starbucks now. So you can go to Starbucks, sit in there, get on the Wi-Fi, and learn yourself up.
Hey, yo, I love y'all. Okay. Right? I love y'all. But, nigga, we not going to see what we looking for.
I know what you're saying.
Until we gone.
All right.
I'm saying,
so what you're saying is
Moses never saw the promised land. What's your point?
What you're saying is this is some shit that the next generation or maybe the generation after that is gonna fix.
I believe my kids, I believe my children's children will look back, look at George Floyd, and be like, wow, like I can't believe cops was killing unarmed black people. And I feel like they would laugh at it. Same way that I think
because
about
by the time that your kids come around to that third generation that you're creating now, if we don't do something now, they will look back at Martin Luther King like, I can't believe it, because by then your generation that you're creating now will have been so diluted. My nigga, we never learned about black history in school.
It's our responsibility to teach it to our children.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Education. So
it
education
has to be
is
education. One. It's all education, because that's why we're all sitting here talking about our opinions and shit. Is because of the education that we've been dealt. That's it. That's it. That's what we're working with. Is the education that we've been dealt. So if my education that I've been dealt with is teaching me the shit that I'm saying, then what? Shame on me?
Nope.
All right then. So who the fuck do we point the arrows at?
Yourself.
Nigga, so what? Shame on me?
Nope. It says look in the mirror and understand that there's a different perspective that you can look from. Why? Because there was somebody who was dealt worse than your hands that you were dealt with, who did better than you.
For now.
Real shit.
Fuck is you saying, man?
It's a fact.
Missed it. All right, go ahead, fact. Please, somebody else.
If you take an example, like any of the cities that came up, I hate to use places like Black Wall Street because it's not the only place that was like that. There were other places in the U.S. that were like that, but there were people who literally came out of slavery, built their own shit, bus lines, banks, all types of businesses, and they were self-sufficient.
Right.
Asians do it all the time when
they're still doing it.
Their money circulates within their community like what, 3-4 times before it ever leaves their community. It's not like it's impossible. They come here and learn it.
And let me digress. When I say you, I didn't mean you literally. I meant literally
him,
us.
nigga.
Yeah.
What the fuck you saying?
No, I meant us. Because the thing is, and my personal, and that's why you know, like very personally, like I do a lot of things that I'm doing now, and I go so hard at so many different things just because of the fact that I know that there are people in my situation who had literally worse hands than I did, and they're doing fucking
it's
better.
Not about
and
the cards you're dealt. It's about how you play your cards.
And that shit pisses me on. It doesn't piss me off. It literally pisses me on, bro. So it's like I can't. I'm sorry. I can't take that.
Some network marketing shit.
What,
if you wasn't around that, you would have never heard that shit. It's the network marketer and this nigga talking right now. It pisses me on. I fucking hate that term. To be completely honest, it pisses me on. It's a stupid ass fucking thing. Whatever. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that shit turns.
It gets you motivated. It gets you inspired. It gets you to moving. I get that. It's a stupid fucking saying. Don't say it again around me. But anyway,
here's the last thing
I will continue to say
Haiti,
this, by the way.
When they had their revolution, they cut a bunch of people's heads off. Most of those people were of the fairer complexion. honestly, I don't believe in a bloodless revolution. Let's go, Doug. Let's get the machetes out.
So what's up? What we doing, dog? What we doing?
Fuck these mics, man.
Get this
breaking the Walmart.
What's up?
Nah,
what
there's more of them than of us, nigga. It ain't gonna happen.
So what we doing? We gonna get, you know what I'm saying?
No bullshit. Like, yo, I think genuinely with everything that you're doing, bro, like your passion is hip hop.
Right.
And I know our passion, like, is sales.
Right.
So my passion is still strip clubs. I live in that later, I can't.
So it's like, let's start from there. That's my
start
thing.
From where?
Let's start from the passion point where we can actually teach it. Where we master it to a point where we can teach it, then we make it duplicatable. It's like,
yeah, I like that.
You're a great communicator. You're in sales. Your thing is hip hop. Like, let's build the next generation. Like,
we can easily just get insurance policies and 401ks. We be straight, man.
I feel you, but I'm talking about how are you gonna live while you're here, though? Because the thing is, I'm not trying to go break my back the same way my parents did, doing whatever they was doing. I actually want to enjoy my life while I'm here because I've seen you. I ain't even gonna go with that deep, but I've seen the generation before me grow and be miserable and have nothing to show for their work because they were trying to put the next generation in place and they have nothing to show for it now. And they're relying on the generation that they set forward or they try to set forward, right? And then right now, because of the fact that the generation that they tried to set forward is not doing what they expected them to do, now they're fucked.
It's scary how many immigrants.
So shame on who?
It's
shame.
A lot of immigrants.
The fuck? Because that's what it's about, right? It's a fucking blame game. It sounds like a blame game.
It's not a.
All right. We're trying to bring this into a landing, and you guys keep spiraling.
Wrap it up, Chiz. Where's the wrap it up?
This has to be another episode, man.
That's what we're gonna do. Everybody, stop
Final
talking.
words.
So as a consensus, Black lives will always matter. Police brutality is always, it's still at an all-time high. Shit's getting crazy. What we need to do, what I truly believe, man, is we need to just love each other, man. Loving each other it's a very cliche thing to say. You know what I mean? And it's, we can say this shit all we want, man, but it starts with our daily actions on what the fuck are we doing, right? Like, how the fuck are we gonna conduct our lives and show that respect, show that compassion, and show that gratitude towards every person that we come across? There's a lot of things that are fucked up within our community. I will never negate that fact. A lot of shit that we need to fix.
Yep.
But we should never lose sight of what we're doing here, and that's pushing our people forward. Right? There's a lot of problems that we started as people that we can fix amongst ourselves. And that's why a lot of the times we don't believe in policing, and we don't believe in outside forces governing what we do on a day-to-day basis. But the prosperity of our existence, the advancement of our people relies solely on us and the people who have voices and the people who will, make a difference, moving forward. I appreciate all you brothers that's here, having this conversation with me, man.
You too, man.
I don't usually do things like this. And for the record, none of us are qualified to talk about social issues.
Straight up.
You know what I mean?
Real nigga.
We're not, you know what I mean? Who the fuck?
I'm not no social activist.
Right. Yeah, we don't do this shit.
I ain't been to no marches. You ain't see me there.
Y'all seen CWTFB Radio. I talk about rap every week.
Rappers.
Man. We talk
we
about
ain't rappers
rap
neither.
Yeah, I mean, none of us rap even. I mean, I used to think of it. That was the Cash might
check
Cash
out my mixtape on SoundCloud.
Cash.
Just C's86 at SoundCloud.com.
Cash might have did a few ad libs. You know what I mean?
Word. I ain't
Steven,
never
you know
rapped.
what I mean? Thought he rapped.
Chiz never invited me to the studio for the record. I'm still hurt about that, but whatever.
Don't get it twisted, man. I had to reignite that shit back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I had to spit some shit. They thought,
oh God!
He didn't even let me talk over the track.
I can't.
Was it better than Dwayne Wade's verse?
With the pink hair?
Was it better than Dwayne Wade's verse on Rick Ross's
pink hair?
Yo, you ain't seen
pink
hair.
hair?
Yo, that nigga
He had pink hair.
Yo, that's crazy. That's another conversation.
I didn't.
That's another conversation.
I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to bring this panel back at some point. All four of us. But this was fun. Anybody got any last words? Brief last words.
Yo, I'm happy to be black, man. Still.
Word.
The only thing I can say is, yo, if you have an Audible account, a Kindle account, just give somebody your login. Y'all can share these books. And if you want to use something else, like trade books with each other, like the knowledge is power. I think forget the money. Get the knowledge, the money will come.
Word.
Well, to piggyback off what man Caesar said, it just education is power, man. And I genuinely believe that a lot of what we've been missing has been hidden in the books. And realistically, like, this shit's right in front of us, man. And I remember when we started our journey together, like, just really educating ourselves. Like, it's right here. But I appreciate you for having us here, man.
Shout out to you, Charlie. Good shit.
You're already. But this is CWTFB Radio, man. I was actually here sitting with CWTFB for the first time. That's crazy. But, you know, till next time, man, we love y'all. We out.